All right, what is it, midnight? It's midnight. That was a long one. Drug on a little bit. Really proud of how we played in the second half, obviously. We've been talking about adversity all week, and adversity happens in every game that you play in. And we got challenged. And at halftime, that was a very challenging situation for coaches and players. And was proud about how we went out and on all three sides of the ball played harder than they did. Not to take anything away from Rutgers because their effort was tremendous. We knew it was going to be tremendous. And they played really hard and they played well. But we felt like we went out and we outplayed them in the second half. So it was a great team win. Questions?
31 points in the first half, but none in the second. Is it anything more than just effort?
We got a turnover or two, I think, did we? I don't know how many we get. A lot of that stuff runs together, but we wanted what they did in the first quarter when they kicked off and the wind was, that's a field position thing. We had a hard time getting out of that field position early in the game, and then we did the same thing in the second half, which really helped our defense. We didn't execute offensively, great in the third quarter, but we were able to put up a couple of touchdowns and get a couple of turnovers, so that was beneficial. It's the number one thing is effort. It's effort, and when adversity hits and you don't make a play, what are you going to do? Are you going to shut it down, or are you going to line up and play even harder? And we did that in the second half.
Your decision to go for it on 4th and goal, the one where Gino scored, and you could have kicked the field goal to tie it. A lot of people would have taken that one. What was your thought process there?
Well, I don't know. Just made a decision. And when you're playing like that on defense, we're playing well on defense. And when you can, if you don't get it and they're backed up inside the 1 yard line, then that's, you can use that to your advantage defensively, so I just felt like we had it, and I thought we had the right play called, and Gino kind of blinked a little bit. We're supposed to hit Tyler over the middle on it, because we felt like they were all going to just suck down in there on the line of scrimmage, and he didn't trigger it and made a play, which, we've been telling these guys a lot that it's hard for us to call perfect plays on offense, and if we don't call a perfect play, then that doesn't mean that the play can't work. You got to figure out a way to make it work. And I was frustrated with Gino for quite a bit of the game today on not doing that, but he did that in the fourth quarter.
So him running it in, was that just something that he did after the pass? He didn't see it was there, or is that?
He scrambled out. Yeah. He didn't want to trigger it, and then he just went and made a play, which that's part of the game. He scrambled on a couple of, he got a couple of scrambling, first downs, which kept us out there on the field. That's called making a play, and we don't tell them to, scramble and run or scramble and throw. You got to look at it and make a decision.
In the last minute of the first half, walk us through exactly what happened there, time management-wise.
Well, we ran out of time. What's the question?
I mean, did you want a timeout earlier?
Well, no, we thought they'd spot it quicker. We didn't sub, so we thought they'd spot it quicker, and it just took too much time, so we had to call a timeout. I was trying to get it set and take a shot real quick, but we just ran out of time, so called a timeout.
More power run game day. Was it conditions, or was it just something you guys were doing that allowed you to do that?
No, it was conditions. I mean, they were horrible. It was as bad of conditions as I've ever played in and coached in for my entire career. So, especially the first quarter, the first half especially, because the field was covered in ice and slush, and we had a hard time hanging on to the ball. It's not great conditions to throw the ball, but and they weren't just stacking everybody down there in the box, which if they would have done that, we would have had to have thrown the ball more. But Sean Austin did a great job. He came in there and played real well. Probably should have gave it to him more.
Given all that with the conditions and everything, how mentally challenging was this game as much as trying to execute?
It's hard, and just proud of the guys the way they responded. I mean, it was like I said, it was a good team win, you know, but that was a challenging situation. Rutgers wanted to win this game. You know, you could tell it. You knew it. You could see it in pregame. The coaches were motivated. The players were playing hard. They wanted to win this game, you know, and for us to come in after the loss last week and you know, come into a situation on the road against the team, regardless of the conditions, against the team that wanted to win. I mean, it shows that our team may be on the verge of growing up a little bit.
Did you change anything at halftime, or like you said, was it just a matter of effort and going out and doing
Effort.
it?
Yeah, we didn't change anything. It was effort. It was effort and want to, and you know, getting out there and being determined to make things work and playing together as a team. Our team played well together in the second half.
Dana, the end arounds to Tamon, was that a conditions thing where you figured to get them blown out when you'd slip and you go right, or was that something you figured out with their scheme?
Yeah, that was scheme. That was actually, on our script, it was the first play of the game, you know, and we couldn't call it first play of the game because of a hash, you know, which happens a lot, you know, but we knew that that had a chance to be there, and you know, we got the ball in his hands and he made a play a couple times.
When they faked the field goal, Cook makes the play, I mean, it seemed like your team got picked up on it.
Yeah, which, you know, I felt like, you know, in the second half where, you know, we were trying, you know, we were, you know, what we told them at halftime was look in the mirror going out there, you know. I mean, you know, this isn't, you know, you got to check yourself before you can, you know, go out there and point fingers and all that stuff. So I just felt like we went out and played well, you know, and played together, and you know, hopefully got a little better.
What did the weather take you out of doing that you would have liked to have tried?
Well, it's you know, it's hard to get footing. You know, the old line was sitting in there getting pushed back on skates, and just takes some time to run downfield, and the ball gets wet at times. I mean, just something you got to deal with.
Who's that an advantage for, offense or defense in conditions like that? And it seemed like they were trying to take a couple shots deep and take advantage of some of that stuff, especially against the secondary.
Yeah, I mean, we're you know, I don't know. You know, I mean, offense knows where they're going, defense doesn't. You know, but you know what I saw with us offensively and throwing the ball was the old line not giving Gino as much time because they were getting challenged and getting pushed back. I don't think we did a good job of sustaining blocks and keeping the pocket wide. That's why we did some things out of the pocket.
They pressure really well. They only had 1 sack, not 2 sacks. They were going to scramble out of bounds too.
Yeah, they
Even that
didn't.
Protected with.
They didn't. Well, yeah, but the pocket started collapsing. You know, we didn't. You know, I mean, Gino threw it 31 times, but a lot of those were screens and getting out of the pocket. I didn't feel comfortable with being a pocket passing team today. You know, and we didn't have a lot of those plays going into the game plan based on what happened last week. We thought they would blitz more. Probably due to the conditions, they probably didn't blitz as much.
Okay, anything else for Coach? All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks.